Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and today I'm reacting to something with a new band. I have no idea what to expect with these folks other than I've heard they went very viral with their release of This Is Halloween some time back. I'm not covering that because that's already booked into my calendar, but I am going to be covering their copy of Tainted Love, the cover I should say of Tainted Love, and this is Broken Peach. My understanding is that they are a Spanish cover band, and that they do really cool stuff with their videos as well as their music, and that has me super excited. I know nothing about them. I know there are 7 of them, I guess, so I know something. There are 4 singers, 2 Ericas, Lara and Sela, and then 3 musicians in Ruben, Pedro, and Julian. And beyond that, your guess is as good as mine. I don't even know how these folks turned up. I think it was just other reactions on, reactors get recommended to me because I watch other reactors. And I saw a couple of people had covered either Tainted Love or This Is Halloween last year, and not knowing the band at all, but seeing the thumbnail for This Is Halloween looked amazingly cool, I opted for Tainted Love, as I say, because I already have This Is Halloween booked. I keep spoiling that that's coming. It's no surprise anymore. But I will be covering This Is Halloween at some point in this month. So I figured I'd go for this instead. And Tainted Love is a great song. And so why not cover it, essentially? It's a fantastic piece of music. Originally composed by Ed Cobb, who was a member of the Four Preps, and originally recorded by Gloria Jones in 1964, but it became truly famous after being recorded by Soft Cell, which is a British synth-pop duo back in the early 80s. And since then, of course, it has charted incredibly. It has hit number 1 back in 81, 82 in Australia, Belgium, Canada, in South Africa, in the UK. It's really done well for itself and is certified gold or platinum in multiple countries, including Australia and Canada, the UK, Italy, Denmark, and Germany. These are the current Wikipedia bits of information. Also covered by Marilyn Manson in 2001, which was actually the version I heard first. Oddly enough, I did not hear the Soft Cell version until later. But I'm very curious to see what somebody else does with it, and by the sounds of it, will do in a very cool way. So yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about this, because I really don't know enough about the band to make much of a comment. So we'll see what they have in store for us. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. The way I work, I'm going to watch this video from beginning to end and simply emote or comment over the top of it. Following that, I will then go back and watch it again from the beginning, and this time I will pause and interrupt and offer what commentary and analysis I feel I can, based on the visuals I see, the audio I hear, and the foreknowledge I have gained. Wow, I can't talk tonight. The foreknowledge I have gained from watching the video once. That's about it for this, so all I'll say is please do like the video, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything but does amazing things for me, and my channel base continues to grow, and I hope that continues to be the case. You can hit the notification bell to decide how often YouTube actually pings you to say I've posted. Normally once a week, Friday 5 PM on EST. And during theme months like this, like Halloween month, twice a week, and in this case, usually on a Tuesday. One exception, I think this week as this goes out, or maybe last week, just because I also had my 1-year anniversary video, which was not a Halloween video, and I just wanted to spread things out a bit. And if you would care to, please head over to buymeacoffee.com/David K Reacts, where you can donate to support the channel if that is something that you would like to do. That's it, I think. So without any further delay, let's bring up the screen and check out Broken Peach's cover of Tainted Love. This is also marked as a Halloween special, so I think we should be in for something appropriate to the season. All right, here we go. Okay, I love the presentation already. And the swirling drum kit is phenomenal. Is that practical or is that CG after the fact? Okay, this is great. Okay, this is awesome so far. The physicality in the video is phenomenal. Oh, yes. The harmony in this. Oh, I love that pullback in audio volume. The uniformness of their look is so striking. It's making it very difficult to have any, not that I know who's who, but I can't tell. There are blood vials being shed on the ground. Oh, I like the choice to make this spoken. Oh! Hey, bud. Oh, I love their logo. Has the mask there just been added for this? It's cool either way, but that's doubly cool if they've accessorized their own logo. That's so good. Wow, there's a lot of energy in that performance, both musically and visually speaking. Like, I'm fired up from that. I think Timmy, it's too hot, you boy. You want to come up and say hi? Hey, kid. You say hi? He says no. I'm just yelling to come up. I don't know how long he was there for. I realised these are so noise cancelling, and that was quite loud. He may have been there for a minute. I'm sorry if he was meowing through that. That was great. I love the press. There's so much to love about this. I'm going to go back and start pretty much straight away, because I just want to talk about the visuals immediately. So I'm going to do my usual 2 seconds. Well, it might be a tiny bit longer. I'm just going to let them come on. Like, straight away, before they've even started playing, this is such a striking video. I love the fact that they've gone for a space. It's very plain in colour. You've got this fairly striking wood floor that they've obviously brought in to mount the drum kit on. But you've got the stone, you've got the off-white walls, you've got the, the sort of seriousness of these grey doors that look very ominous, with just the, not quite head height window in them, and the strong bolts. And then the sort of dark window look over the top kind of gives you almost the vibe of a panopticon. It's not quite, but that's the sort of vibe it's giving me. Panopticon, for those who don't know, was an old prison system where there was a tower in the middle and all the cells on the outside, so that the guards could look out at all times and see everybody. Very invasive of privacy and all that sort of thing. But it tended to be octagonal, I think, or circular. So you had this, sided tower or round tower, and it's just there's something about this that is giving me that vibe. But what is so striking to me straight away is that the white of the clothing is so much cleaner and brighter than the white behind. And it might just be lighting, because you can see from sort of some of the shading on the floor and that sort of thing, the lights aren't reaching to the back. So it could be lighting, but I think it's also that the walls are off-white. And white on white is popping so well in this video. It's an extraordinary choice. And then to have these splashes of black and vibrant, like cherry red, is giving this a unique and very, very effective visual profile. Add to that the white drums as well, and this, hypnotic swirl skin on the bass. And as I say, I don't know if that's like a spinner that they've mounted on front of the bass or whether it's a CG effect that's been applied to it. I think it's a practical. I've just never seen something like that before, and it's awesome. I also enjoy the fact that the four ladies singing have their own color XLR cable leading out of these microphones. Obviously, they're not plugged into anything. This is for visual effect at this point. But it's striking. It sets them apart a little bit. Possibly the only thing about it that's bugging me is the fact that their hair color doesn't match with the color of their wire. Which is the most ludicrous thing to get hung up on. But it caught my eye and I was like, darn it, that would have been cool too. Although I think they have the red and the pink here, but they don't have two shades of red in the hair, so it wouldn't have worked anyway. But they have red, green, and blonde. The stupid things my eyes pick up. But it's just such a striking visual at the beginning. I also like that they sort of have this introduction, and everybody comes on, and the band, the musicians in the group, actually start the thing on stage, even though they're not front and center, because the singers are in front of them, and that sort of thing. It gives them a moment, which is really nice at the beginning of this video. So we'll just carry on for a bit. There's so much happening because everybody is performing something different. I didn't see the lady with the green hair there just pull the drummer's head back, have a word with him, and then chuck it forward again. The characterization in this is superb, and I have to say, she stands out. They're all doing an amazing job, but it's like she's doing 10% more. The use of her eyes, the jerkiness of her movements, the twitches, everything is so that little bit more potent. And I find this, you go and watch a musical in the theatre, and there is usually one dancer, frequently but not always the dance captain of the show, or maybe two, who are very difficult to take your eyes off. There's an ensemble of people on the stage, maybe there's 16 dancers in a scene, and yet there are two that will repeatedly catch your eye. And she's achieving that in this. They are all superb. This is nothing against the other three. She's just elevated her performance a fraction. Looks like she's having the time of her life. I've no idea who it is, because apart from the fact that I don't know the band to begin with, the four... the uniform looks and just the four wigs make it impossible to tell them apart if you don't know exactly who is who. I'm sure heights and things like that would give it away, and mannerisms if I knew the band better. Please do comment and let me know below, because I'm curious. It's not going to help very much, because I don't know, they'll probably look completely different the next time I cover them, assuming I come back to them at some point. But yeah, she's having an absolute whale of a time in this. Their movements, this is fascinating. I was just watching things like the drummer clapping the sticks and things like that. Their movements seem very jerky. Now, what I'm curious about is that real? Are they really moving that far? Because if you have specific movement and you can make it sharp enough, it could that could be real. Or they may have used... Now, I got caught out by this right at the beginning of my reaction career. A year ago, just over a year ago, with Jeff Castellucci's Monster Mash. I thought they'd removed frames from what he was doing. I feel like this is a little different, but it might just be what I've come to understand is called undercranking, which is where we're all familiar with bullet time, where you shoot something faster. So you'll shoot at 48 frames a second and then run it at 24 frames a second, for example. And therefore, you're only getting, each sort of what should be a second in film time takes 2 seconds and everything takes twice as long. Undercranking is the opposite, where you might film something at 20 frames or 18 frames a second and then run it at 24. So it's running a little fast. And the way I came across that, and it looked a little jerkier, which is why I don't think what's going on here, but it's a possibility, was in Jackie Chan's martial arts scenes. In a lot of his fights, they used undercranking, and it makes everything he does seem so much faster and sharper, and it's everything looks like it has more pace to it. I don't think that's what they're doing. I have a feeling this might just be them moving really, really quickly. But I'm curious. If anybody knows, let me know. This decision to run with just the synth coming in at the beginning, and then there's like a couple of drum beats, and then everybody comes in. Interesting choice. It kind of gives the band a minute to breathe, for us to recognize the three of them on stage, and then to see everybody start playing. And just before we start talking about all 7 of them as a whole, I love how much is going on between the bits that are actually physically being played. The drummer will hit the cymbals and then do a bunch of stuff, kind of move around a little bit, shake, like, loosen up kind of thing, be ready for the next hit, but is staying in character the whole way through. And it's really compelling to watch. I really like what they're doing here. And again, this introduction, you've got 8 bars of the 4 at the front doing just all these snap, jerky movements and kind of introducing themselves. And we get who the characters are before they even start singing, because we've seen the regular movement where they come and bring the band on and they're sort of in their normal character. Then we've seen the musical movement as they hit these poses to the rhythm, to the beat. And it's given us so much about who they are before they even start. And I love that. It's really, really powerful. I also love the musical introduction of this sort of... No, it's not there today. Going on in the background. And it's interesting because the sound that they're using there, it could be a synthesized element, or it could actually be a post-processed vocal. I don't know this band well enough to know if there's somebody who could sing that high, but it could be a vocal line that has been processed, or it could be a synth. I'm inclined towards a synth right now, but that's partly because I don't have the vocal experience of the group to know, to know if that's something that they're capable of doing. I certainly could believe it. But that's just, it's really cool that we start with that, and again, we get this different moment that is happening off screen essentially before we get the introduction of the actual singing from the 4 at the front.
Sometimes I feel I've got to run away, I've got to get away from the pain you drive into the heart of me, the love we share.
Lovely choice to have just the 2 on the left of the screen singing to begin this. That whole section until that last phrase began was just the 2 of them. Panned to the left side of your headphones, so you are hearing, you're just hearing them. But you're hearing them from where they are, which is nice because it allows you to understand musically what is happening in a geographic sense. You know it's the people on that side of the screen who are singing. Great use of audio panning, and then you can hear it fill out to the right as the other two come in at this phrase. Now, my inclination would be it's the blonde who's singing the harmony there. Sing to, because it's coming furthest to the left in the mix. It might not be. It might just be that that's where it's been mixed. It might be somebody else who would normally sing that. But again, assuming that the geographic centering that is actually happening in the music is correct to where they are placed in the video, that's great. It's lovely to be able to know who's doing what. It makes it so easy to watch this and understand what is happening. Which is a lovely, lovely approach for this, and I enjoy the fact that that's the route they're going. And even if it's not that, even if it's the redhead who's actually singing that harmony, and it's just it's coming out of the other side, they've still created a very, very effective physical space, orally speaking, what you're listening to, because that is a part of this. So it's if everybody's too clustered to the front, if you have, the two center singers panned 0 degrees at all, and the other two 20 degrees each to one side, you have this very front clustered sound that's going to sound very muddy, it's going to sound confusing, whereas spreading them out, this is a really good example of it. It's so effective in helping you to understand the scope of what's going on.
Get away from the pain you drive into the harmony of the love we share seems to go nowhere, and I lost my life for a toss and turn. I can't sleep at night.
Great use here. I don't often do this, but I want to go back for a second and just hear something. Yeah, I thought so. I really enjoy the fact that this first verse, we've got floor tom, snare drum, which I think has been dampened based on the fact that the skin is on that drum is black, cymbal, and that's kind of it here. Oh, in fact, sorry, not even cymbal, but the other tom is being used in the little fill, stuff like that. And then we come to the next verse, and they've got this slightly open hi-hat that is giving this kind of crashing, sort of resounding effect. It's not, when I say crash, it's not a crash cymbal. It is the hi-hat that's being used, but because it's slightly open, it's constantly rattling against itself and giving this constant sound in the background. This is the crash that he's playing right now. Oh, I jumped too far in. Here. I like their use of harmony. There's just a little bit of it. It's not front and center. We are still hearing mostly the melody, but there's just enough going on that it's there in the background. The chords, the chord progressions and stuff, obviously they're doing great work with this. I haven't heard the original for a very long time. I sat down to record a reaction and I don't know what I'm going to record, and saw this pop up. And 5 minutes later, I'd done my little tiny bit of research and was ready to go. So I don't have a lot of kind of context for it, in the sense that sometimes I will listen to an original before I come back to do this. This time I didn't. So forgive me, I don't remember if these are the exact chord progressions of the original. What I do know is that they are realizing them very effectively. The way that they've got them broken up between band and singers is a really, really nice balance. It's allowing just enough harmony to tell us where we're going without trying to fill it out too much, which is, a definite thing that can happen. And I love that whole section that they've got with that sort of pre-chorus there. Just the way they've presented that is great. And again, I love that they all have, even though they're doing this more or less the same thing, and the band even is doing similar things, both of the guitarists are kind of leaning back, but right at the end, the bassist leans forward, wide-eyed, and kind of stares between, while the guitarist doesn't really leave that pose. There are slight little bits of individuality injected into this, crossed with the fact that the four ladies, other than when they're doing the air punch, their instruction seems to be on-the-beat movements, but do your own thing. And it's fascinating because it means everyone's moving at the same time. There's no sense that there's one person over, you've got this sort of thing going on where there's two different timings happening. That's a really weird way of demonstrating that, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. But it doesn't have to be, it's not, choreographed dancers making the exact same move the whole time. We don't snap into this pose simultaneously. One person's doing this while another one's doing this while another one's doing, and it's great because you get uniformity without having to have, something identical. There is individualism that stays within this. And I like the fact that the three musicians are in sync, despite the fact that the drummer obviously can't do the same thing that the guitarist and the bassist are doing, because the nature of his instrument is different. And yet, it still feels like he's a part of the trio at the back. The choices that have been made here are excellent.
If you want a boy, could give you, take my tears, and that's no nearly all. Tainted love, tainted love.
Great use of the whoa from the guys there, just coming forward, making and head movements. Even we can't see their mouths, which, were they the singers, would be a cardinal sin, really. Obviously people break the rule, but not being able to see the mouth of somebody who's singing restricts you so much from being able to understand what is happening in front of you. We can't see their mouths, but their head movements and their body language tells us it's them singing that. You know that if you saw this live, they would be moving up to a microphone, singing, and then pulling back to play the instruments, and then coming back for that little line and moving away again. We can see what would be happening, and so your mind fills in the blanks. Really, really nice choice. Oops, I don't know what just happened there.
Tainted love. Now I know I've got to run away. I've got to get away. You don't really want any more from me. To me, it feels right. You need someone to.
Again, lovely use of harmony. It just creeps in and out. We didn't have any for a little bit here.
Get away. You don't really want any.
So here we've just got the two on the right. We've switched from the beginning. So it's nice also. We're balancing the load. But you can hear when the two on the left start coming in. Again, I suspect it's the blonde based on how it's been panned, but I might be wrong about that. But you can start to hear that harmony just creep in.
More from me. To me, it feels right. You need someone.
I forget the words to this, but you got the da 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 do 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 do. It creeps in right there, and so you've even had the beginning of that line sung in unison, and then it sneaks in. Really, really effective, because if you're not listening for it, if you're not trying to hear it come in, you get halfway through the next line before you realize it's there, and then you wonder where it came from, because it's been crept in so effectively. This arrangement is stunning. I really, really like it.
From here to me, it feels right. You need someone to hold you tight. And you think love is to pray. But I'm sorry, I don't pray that way. Once I run to you, now I run for you.
I'm watching the bassist right now, and I love, he's got the slightly wide-eyed thing, which is so effective with the black makeup surrounding it. I'm getting slight Jack Skellington vibes from the makeup too. I think it's that very, very dark eyeshadow and ring, and then the very defined eyebrows and the mouth, and obviously it strips away here the lovely outline of the nasal bone. They've done a really good job here. But yeah, I love the gentle makeup on the guys. You've just got the eyes and the eyebrows, and that's really it, because the mask covers everything else. But he's kind of moving, and it's almost like playing the bass guitar is an afterthought, because all the performance is here and up, and it's fascinating, and it's like the bass guitar's almost throwaway, the performance that he's giving. These folks have done such a good job of realizing such a consistent product from beginning to end of this video. I mean, I know every band puts thought into their videos, and sometimes it's the simple thoughts that work so very well. This also the fact that this is a one take. At least I assume it is. I haven't detected a cut anywhere, and I see no reason why it wouldn't be. They just stuck the camera up and went for it. And it's great. He even starts just hitting the bass with quite a wide swing. It's not like he's going for like a thumb slap. Like, that's a full-on hit. It's, well played, sir. That's excellent. Oh, I just noticed the vials that are falling out of the greenhead singer's costume. When did they actually start coming out? Oh yeah, they're not there. So they come out sometime during the Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. I like the decision to make this spoken. What's interesting is it's the only point in the song where you really get the idea that they do not speak with an English language accent, American, British, whatever it happens to be. You can hear in a little bit of the pronunciation that there is that Hispanic accent in the background there. It's nice because it gives you a little bit of their voices when you learn to sing. Now, of course, I was not trained. I am half Spanish. I was not trained to sing in Spain, but my assumption is that most singing teaching around the world largely follows very, very similar ideas. And especially when you're singing kind of poppy music, the easiest way to learn to sing it is to sing a slightly more Americanized pronunciation because of the way that vowels are spoken. Is a very easy sound to make. Ah is a little more closed off. Or is much more closed off. So therefore it's much easier to produce a sound on an and to get a big note, a sustained note, something like that. The wider the mouth and the throat are, the easier it is to make a loud, high, sustained sound than is somewhere else. And so a lot of singing all around the world leans into this. And once you get into traditional music, that's not the case anymore because traditional music grows up with its people. But once you get into stuff like this, it's easier to mimic than it is to stick within, the core of your own accent. And so hearing them speak and hearing more of a natural Hispanic accent coming out in that, it's just kind of really cool because it puts a bit of a stamp of their identity on this cover as well. Or, orally speaking, audibly speaking. Obviously, there's an enormous amount of their own stamp, visually speaking. That is not within question. And musically, it's the case too. But to hear it in the voices is kind of awesome too. Tainted love, sweet dreams are made of tears. Who am I to disagree? I trouble the world and set. I'm fascinated to see where these blood vials are coming from because I just noticed the redhead drop one as well. Oh, they're in the garters. Oh, you can see she's literally reaching for it in the garter right now. You can see it behind that little black elastic or tape that's there. Oh, and that's really well done. They're disguising them in like she's the greenhead girl is kind of doing this sort of a movement, like scraping up her leg, and in the process has just hooked them and swiped them out. That's really smooth. Nope. Did one just fly across the screen? Oh, the redhead actually threw it at the screen. I missed that first time around. Subtle details, but they're great. And this shout, this increasing, like they've built tension up so well coming into this pre-chorus again, because you've got this shout that starts out quite almost seductive, and it gets louder and it gets louder until they're yelling, and they've built that up so very well throughout that entire section. Really, really impressed with that. It's a great energy that they're putting into coming into this final chorus. And you really, there's no difficulty seeing them getting an audience going with this, is there? Like that, you would be belting the chorus out with them by this point if you were in a concert. I'm wondering if the green-haired lady is a little bit more in the vein of a lead singer. I'm not sure. I feel, based on where she is at the, and it might just be performance versus audio, but she's leaning right in as she starts singing at the end here, and I feel like one voice slightly to the right of my audio mix is standing out slightly more. So I feel like that might be deliberate. And just the amount, I got you! She's really dropping her jaw, opening her mouth wide, and putting energy into that sound, and it matches what we're hearing. So I feel like she's leading this at this point. So good! So good, and I love that lead up at the end there. The I got you. Dun, dun. It's effective. It ends sharply. It gives it a really, really nice impact for that final note, or the final like two notes, that double button that we have at the end there. This is incredible work. Can I get a decent still? It's not bad. You can mostly see people, but I love just everything they've got going on here. The energy throughout this song never drops unless they choose to make it do so in order to build it back up again. It's a stunning visual. The work they've put in, the costumes, the makeup, it's wonderful. The location is excellent. And I don't know, this could also, this is very conceivably a stage. It feels like they've gone to a location, but I'm not sure. It could just be a stage. But regardless, this to look at is so striking. It stands out. It would catch, like the thumbnail caught my eye the moment I looked stuff up. Even in the small like reactor window like mine is, where it's reduced in size, I saw that pop up from somebody who'd reacted to this last year, and it caught my eye because these splashes of white from the costume and the sharp red outlines are such a great look. This is phenomenal. They did a really, really good job on that. Well done, Broken Peach. I'm singularly impressed with that cover. Really enjoyed it. Would love to know what else the band's done. As I say, I don't have time to fit anything else in Halloween. I know they've done This Is Halloween. I know that was their most famous. I don't know if it still is. This is over 6.5 million views on YouTube right now, which is nothing to shake a stick at. I'm really, really impressed. I really enjoyed that. It's a great song. They did a phenomenal cover of it. I love that they themed it Halloween-y. And yet it's also very accessible as in viewing. They haven't tried to make it terribly scary. But they have succeeded in making it quite creepy. Yeah, love that. Really, really well done. Thank you for watching. I hope I managed to bring you something with this, whether it's a little insight into something or something that you heard that you didn't understand why you liked, something like that. Or the song itself, or the band themselves, if you've never come across them before, like I hadn't. Any of the above. I'm very happy if I've managed to do that. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you're still here with me. Please do like the video, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell to enable how often you get notified by YouTube of me posting videos. And also, if you would care to, please do head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts. I really would appreciate that if it's something that you would like to do, but no pressure to do so. That's it for today. more Halloween content coming in 3 or 4 days. I've lost track of whether this is my Tuesday release or my Friday release, but it will be coming very shortly. And for now, take care. Thank you so much for watching. Look after yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.